You're listening to the Jewish Entrepreneur Podcast with Debbie Sasson, episode number 195. Welcome to the Jewish Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Sasson. I went from being a financial advisor, author, and chronic under-earner to building my business to six figures as a financial planner and money mindset coach, and then onto multiple six figures as a full-time money and business coach. I help entrepreneurs create money-making businesses and build wealth using sales and money mindset strategies and in alignment with authentic Jewish values. Now, let's dive in to today's show. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the podcast. I cannot believe that this is the last episode for 2025. It has been quite a year in my business, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And in the Jewish world, it has been a year. I don't really have words to describe it. My tongue gets sort of caught in my throat when I think back on everything that we as a community, we as a people, we as a nation have experienced this year. And just a week and a half ago, as I'm recording this podcast, there was a massacre on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. It has been a very challenging year for the Jewish community internationally. Of course, in Israel, we had attacks by Iran, and we continue to experience terrorist attacks on a smaller scale, as it were, from time to time. And at the same time, we have continued to see miracles. As always, God is on our side. And I think that is the message that I'm really living into in 2026 is seeing miracles, seeing magic, and just remembering that through it all, God is good. We say in Psalms that God is good and his mercy is with all of his creations. Tov Hashem lakol rachamav kol ma'asav. And that is the message. And I think that as I look forward, and we're going to talk about my predictions for 2026, what I've noticed in 2025, but that is really what I'm going to be focusing on is the fact that everywhere I look, I see magic, I see miracles. I go on my morning walk and I notice the color of the flowers. I notice where today I saw an orange tree as I was on a morning walk, and remembering that there is just so much beauty, so much abundance in the world. And sometimes, some days, we have to look a little bit harder to notice it and to remember, especially as a people. And I will also just share with you that a couple of weeks ago, my son got engaged. And this is an interesting story. I'm going to tie it into business, that my son Elhanan and his bride, his Kala Elisheva, they actually went out a year ago. And after a month or so, they called it off. They didn't continue. And then neither one of them found a partner, and they both hadn't forgotten the other one. And they re-met, and within a very short time, they were engaged. And that is also a metaphor for business. Sometimes you will meet a potential client. Sometimes you will meet a potential person whom you want to bring into your business, a vendor, a hire, and it's not going to work out at the exact time that you think is the right time. And we always have to remember that God's timing is perfect. So that's maybe an underlying theme of everything. And 2025, I know, was a hard year for so many people. And I'm going to just call that out. And I know that some businesses just totally took off. My business did extremely well. We do know that in Israel, there were companies in Israel that were sold to investors for like billions of dollars. And there's just tremendous growth going on. But all right, that's not going to be the individual pieces that are going to help you with your business. So let's talk about, as we move into 2026, what have I seen in 2025 and where do I think that the market is going? Because I think that is going to be the number one takeaway for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and that is a trend that has really been growing since probably about 2023. I think during the years of Corona in 2020, 21, 2022, people were all online, especially in the first year or so of Corona. People were online. We had maybe less to do outside of our houses because there were so many lockdowns all over the world. And certainly in the coaching industry, it was like everybody, their mother, their sister, their brother, everybody was becoming coaches for everything under the sun. And certainly in the coaching community, I have definitely seen that there has been like a fallout. Many people who jumped into the coaching industry have realized that they don't want to be coaches, their businesses aren't thriving as coaches, and so many people have gone back to being employees and they're really happy. And I think that's a great thing. But also in other industries, because we were so disconnected with like reality during those years, and people were sort of making gut instinctual decisions, and it was just like upside down, backwards. Things weren't working normally, and people were making decisions maybe in ways that were different from how they normally made business decisions, investment decisions. And as we have now witnessed over the last like 3 years, 2 years, there has been an erosion of trust, especially in the coaching industry, healing industries, maybe some other industries, maybe not product industries. But what I've noticed is really this shakeout in the coaching healing industry in particular. But that's actually a good thing, because what it means is, I like to say that the cream rises to the top. The people who are really invested in becoming top quality coaches and healers, people who are really invested in becoming top quality creatives, they were using their intelligence, their godly inspired intelligence. They are creating beautiful businesses. Now, it might be because of the erosion in trust that we've just seen a little bit for hiring people. And why did that happen? What is that people actually hired into their businesses coaches, creatives, healers who couldn't really deliver on their promises. They could talk a good talk, maybe a little bit of bro marketing, or maybe everybody was just like scrambling to hire. But what happened was is they were not able to deliver. They were not the quality that they were representing themselves to be. So people are just a little bit more cautious. They're a little bit more hesitant, and they might want to be doing their checking a little bit extra in order to find the person that they want to bring on their team. They're not going to be as quick. They don't feel like they need to like throw money around to get results. So what that means is that if you are dedicated to your craft, if you are very good at what you're doing, that you're investing in yourself and your growth also, that you have a mentor, you're working with people who can guide you and supervise you. It's fascinating to me that my daughter, who is a therapist, she pays for supervision. But in certain industries, if you're not taking responsibility for yourself to continually upgrade and improve your skills, right, then nobody's really paying attention to you in some of these industries that there is no certification board that is managing you. And it really is your responsibility to continually upgrade your skill set, upgrade everything that you are bringing to your clients. So what happened was, I think, is that a lot of people thought that they could just become a coach because there's no regulation, and it was almost like slot machine money, right? You just like put your banner out there, somebody, invests in you, pull a lever, and all of a sudden, boom, more money is pouring out. And I don't think that you need to be a certified coach. There are definitely coaching certifications out there that you have to put hundreds of hours of training into, and they are valuable, they are worthwhile. But I think that people who have social work backgrounds and counseling backgrounds, like I really, if they went to school and they studied it, you don't necessarily need a coaching certification in order to do really good coaching work. And so much of what we do as coaches is listening and guiding, not giving strategy and telling people what to do. But what it does mean is that buyers or investors, your potential clients, are going to be a little bit more focused on the nuances and the specifics that they want. They're not going to just go put money on the table. And that's a good thing for you if you are in integrity in what you do. So that's number one, is just noticing this erosion of trust. And we're going to talk about what that means for you in terms of creating your offers and sharing what you do with the world. So the second thing that I have noticed that I've seen is related to this is that you also have to be a leader for yourself, a leader for your clients, and a leader for your business. Again, you can't just go hang out your virtual you just can't go hang out your virtual shingle and be like, hey, I'm in business. I do great work. Pay me. But you really have to lead yourself daily in terms of getting your business done, focusing on what's important. You have to be a marketer. If you have a business, you must let people know in some way that you're open for business. You can't just expect business to flow to you. And it could be that whatever you were doing in the past, that people did just come to you word of mouth, but people are going to be a little bit more refined and discriminating in their buying decisions. And that behooves of you to really get out there and do your marketing work. And then you have to work on your sales skills. Selling is a skill set. And yes, marketing will do a lot of heavy lifting if people see who you are, what you do, what your values are, how you show up in the world, and they will get onto a sales call. And it is very imperative on you to learn how to close a sale, not because you're sleazy, not because you're pushy, not because you're manipulating someone who otherwise wouldn't want to work with you to yes, work with you. We're not twisting any arms, but you do need to develop sales skills. It's why I focus with my clients on sales mastery because people do want to work with you, but they want to know that you're on their side and they want you to help them overcome any like obstacles or objections they have to investing in themselves. It's not investing in you. When your people work with you, they're investing in themselves and they're investing in their future. And you understanding that you're there to help them get the results they want and close the sale in a good, positive way, that's incumbent upon you as a leader of your business who needs to develop leadership skills. And then, as a leader for your business, you really have to have a vision, a strategy for where you're going to take your business, where you're taking your business in 2026. Does that connect with a 2027, 2028 plan? I really like to think in sort of 3-year plans and then fulfill my plan step by step. Our brain really can't handle much more than that. I mean, I can have a great, audacious plan of building a $50 million business, but it's not going to happen, I don't think, in the next 3 years. So I really have to be focused on what my long term plan is. And then step by step, I'm going to really bring my plan to fruition. And of course, there are plot twists and things happen along the way, but you need to lead yourself and you need to lead your clients, both in the sales conversation, leading them to work with you in a positive way that works for you and works for them. And then throughout the process that you're working with them, you also need to see this as a partnership where you are helping them get the results that they desire. So whether you are creative and you are creating website copy for them, or you're actually designing and developing the website, or you're a photographer and you are creating a beautiful wedding photography album, right? It's so important for you that you're going to help them share with you, your them meaning your clients. They need to share their goals with you and you need to help get that information out of them in a way where you don't have to like pull teeth. I actually was coaching one of my clients today and he was going to have a sales call and I said, like, just and we're new working with each other. So I said, like, you just ask them, like, what else? What else? Like, don't accept surface level answers. When somebody tells you that, let's say you want to create a website for somebody's real estate business and they're a real estate agent and your person says, well, I want to be known as the number one real estate agent in Israel. And I'm making this up, by the way. And it's just important to know, like, why? Like, why does somebody want to be the number one real estate agent? Is number two not good enough? Is it a vanity thing? Is it an ego thing? Is it important to be number one because you have a childhood wound? Like, and I'm not saying this facetiously, but what's the difference between one and two? I definitely had a goal when I was just starting my job at Goldman Sachs a very long time ago that I was going to be the first female partner. Why? Because it was a goal and I see goals as really conquering something that is impossible. Like, why do people climb to the top of Mount Everest? It's there, it's a possibility. And what that means for me is I'm going to grow myself into the best version of me possible. And so if I was, for example, the top real estate agent in Israel, and since I don't do real estate agent in real estate, that's fine. But it means that I've developed my marketing skills as a business owner. I've developed my reach. I've developed my teams. I've developed my sales skills. It just means that I have expanded what I think is possible for me. But you're not going to know that by just casually someone says, "Oh, I want to be the best real estate agent in Israel." And you're like, "Okay." And you move on. And that's why you leading your clients and helping them understand what are the motivations behind their goals? Why is it important? That's part of your leadership as a business owner. And that's what's going to set you apart from your competition. Again, people have had this erosion of trust. And if you just accept the first thing that comes out of somebody's mouth without inquiring and going deeper and getting to know your person, it doesn't mean you have to spend 90 minutes on a sales call with them, but it does mean that you have to ask better questions. You can't just be satisfied with the first thing that someone says because there's always more. There's always a thought under the thought under the thought. So make sure you give your conversations time. Make sure you really get nuanced and specific and get that precision, like, voice of your client nailed down. So that's number two. Number three, when I'm thinking about industry trends in 2026, is that people really do want to invest in their businesses. They really do want to grow. However, I used to think of investing as a courageous thing people did. We talked and we spoke recently about the difference between courage and bravery. But you need to be courageous to invest in your business. But you know what else? You need to be even more courageous to get a return on your investment. It's quote unquote easy. I said this earlier in the podcast episode. It's easy to throw money at a problem. I'm going to invest $10,000 in a new website. I'm going to invest $10,000 in a coach. I'm going to invest $10,000 in Facebook ads. Whatever it is that you decide to do, you can throw money at the problem. But you know what is really more courageous is every single day showing up and doing the hard stuff as a business owner. You're going to be marketing. Yes, you can let your Facebook ads do some of the heavy lifting for you. You can let some of your print ads do some of the heavy lifting for you. But you know what you need to do? You need to refine the way you speak on a sales conversation. You need to refine the way you speak when you go to a networking event. So when people talk to you, you really understand who your ideal client is. And you can say that in a very specific way. So people's eyebrows sort of lift up and they're like, "Oh, I know somebody. She would love to speak with you. Oh, that's interesting. I know a few people who might be great fits for you." So investing isn't just like putting money into your business and letting the money do the work. It's you showing up. And we've talked about this, the marketing, the selling, manage your money. Even today, I was meeting with some of my clients in my program, Wired for Wealth, and managing your money as a business owner was a new concept to a few of my clients. And I really do advocate following the profit first methodology. It is so eye opening for you as a business owner being able to differentiate between the money that comes into your account and then immediately setting aside money for taxes, setting aside money for owner's compensation, setting aside money for your profit account. And then what's left is the money that you can use for expenses in your business. So often CEOs are not getting paid because everybody else gets paid and there's no money left at the end of the month. So that's something that you also need to be working on as a leader for your business is invest in money management systems. Don't just trust your accountant. Your accountant is doing rear view mirror accounting. They're looking at what was, and you want to know what's happening now in real time. Where's my money going? Am I going to have enough money to pay myself a salary at the end of this month? And if you are following the profit first method, then yes, you will 100% have enough money every single month to pay yourself a salary. So this is where investing in the stock market, for example, and I love market tracking index funds like ETFs. You just put it in the market, set it, forget it, and it grows by itself. Of course, if you're in a down market, you have to like sit on your hands and not do anything and let your investments keep growing. But investing in your business means that you are an active participant. You are an active partner in your investment. You don't just put the money in, but you actually have to make it work. If someone's going to give you a website, you put your 10K into a website, for example, you have to figure out now how to drive traffic to your website? Do you invest in Google ads or Facebook ads? How do you get people to even notice that you have a home on the web? Nobody's coming to your website unless you're helping people find your website. So that's investing in your business, and that's really something that you have to think about. We grow by investing. Companies reinvest in their business over and over and over again. It's not like you just invested the first time and then you're done investing in your business. You keep investing, you keep growing. For example, in 2026, I am investing in a new website. It has been 5 years. I have grown, I have changed, I have developed, and I need a home on the web that is going to showcase that to my new clients that they don't even know who I am yet. They haven't even found me yet. So it's really important that I show up with a new website. I also, since I have opened my business, I have almost always, maybe in the first years, I didn't really understand what a coach was, who was a coach, but I have always, 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 like for the last probably 10 years or so, I've always worked with a coach because as talked about supervision for therapists, like my coaches, they're ahead of me and they can help guide me, they can help direct me. I can get feedback on how I've been coaching and what I might, be saying or want to say differently to my clients. So I'm always investing in my skill set as a coach. I'm investing in mindset coaching, strategy coaching, and that's something that you also want to think about when you are hiring people to work on your team. Are they investing in themselves? Do they have a growth mindset? Do they continue up leveling their skill set? And that's something that I think is really, really important for the people whom we hire. All right, now let's talk about another area where I see huge changes in the industry. And this one has happened so fast over the last 3 years and probably even more quickly over the last 1 year. And you could probably guess ahead of time what it is, but it is AI. Artificial intelligence, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, or any of the other ones, every day there's like a new one, right? It is really a force to be reckoned with in the world. And you know what? AI has its place. AI speeds up a lot. AI helps you with automations and helps you do a lot of the work. It does a lot of heavy lifting that you may have done in your business in the past. I definitely use ChatGPT and Claude very often in my business. However, if you are using AI to generate your content, I read emails, I read social media posts, and I can tell the difference between something that was written by a human being and something that was written by a robot. It is so important that you infuse your energy, your words, your language into the content that you write. I think when we talked about that erosion of trust, AI has even more, like, it just repels me. Like 6 months ago, I met somebody. There was a book launch for a friend of ours. A friend of ours wrote a book and she launched it into the world. And I met this woman. I said, "Hey, I read your Facebook post today. Did you use ChatGPT to write it?" And she told me that she had. And I said, I started reading it. I got a few lines in and then I just popped off. I couldn't keep reading it. It just felt robotic. There is a cadence, a rhythm when ChatGPT writes. I don't feel like I'm connecting with a human being. And if you really want to establish trust with your people, you have to get into the nuances of what they're thinking, what they're feeling. You have to get into the specifics of what they desire. I definitely use AI, ChatGPT, and Claude. I definitely use Chat frequently for a brainstorming buddy. I'm like trying to think something out and I'm think this idea, that idea. Even for writing this podcast, I was like, okay, I've got these ideas. How do I want to structure it? End of the year, beginning of the new year. And I'm like typing furiously into ChatGPT. And then Chat was able to help give me the outline without me trying to like break it down. Like they're like, okay, do you want to say it like this? Do you want to say it like that? So we're doing a lot of brainstorming. It's my, BFF, my business forever buddy. But I would never give over my podcast to ChatGPT to generate. And I do think that there may be voice to text to voice services that do that now. But I don't think that any sort of robot is going to be able to get the inflections in my voice, the way that I can go louder and softer, the way I can emphasize things, put a pause in. it's not going to be able to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will. But I definitely don't feel a frequency, a vibration when I'm reading something that has been generated by a robot. And even, for example, ChatGPT gave me some ideas. What did I want to call this podcast? And so I'm going to read to you one line. This just shows you how robotic it is. It says, 2025 was loud. No, sorry, let's read that again. 2025 was not loud, it was clarifying. I'm like, what does that even mean? First of all, 2025 was like pretty loud in my world. I worked, besides working in a war zone, I created so many different kinds of master classes, content. Everything was really focused on what do my clients need. And I went into my brain, excavated it, and I created programs, paid for master classes, things that could be very, very helpful to my clients to keep them moving in their business. So my 2025 was, I don't know, clarifying. It was very productive. That would be a much better word. But we really don't need posts that talk about calm and clarifying and alignment, these like coach words that ChatGPT loves to throw at us, but we don't feel that we are connecting with a real human being. And that's where there's going to be a shift in your content writing. Yes, you can use AI. You can use AI to help you create like a bulleted outline or help give you structure. If your brain is like mine, messy and all over the place, then I can brain dump into ChatGPT, which will give me a nice refined structure back again. And that's so helpful. In fact, that's the way I wrote my book, The 1K Investor, Simple Smart Steps to Start Investing with $1,000 or Less, is I recorded my book into a friend of mine interviewed me and I shared with her my answers and I recorded it, transcribed it, and then a ghostwriter really wrote it mostly in my words. But once I was able to see it and she put it in an order, the ghostwriter that she thought was the most constructive order, I'm like, oh, now I actually see what's missing. Now that it's all there, I can see that, we have to switch around. Chapter 4 needs to come before chapter 3. And oh, we're missing a chapter 6 before 7. So I was able to see the structure because my brain can be very messy. And this is where AI is so helpful, being like, no, this would be a better structure. Here's what you're missing. I can ask it to ask me questions. And as I was preparing this podcast, ChatGPT asked me 10 questions, which made me excavate my brain even deeper to get better quality content for this podcast episode. So there are definitely 100% ways that you can use AI to your advantage to make your job easier, but you must connect with your people. You can't leave your robot in charge of like really speaking to your clients and letting them like feel that you are there, that vibration, that frequency, that human element. A robot just doesn't have it. And I really believe that down to my tippy toes. I know there are people, I've got them in my inbox saying, this was written by Claude and it really is fantastic. And I'm like, I don't know, it's good. You're right. But I still haven't pulled the trigger on working with that person. Anyway, he's in my inbox for the moment. All right. So you want to write content that is specific and that is human, and it is not fluffy like 2025 was clarifying. Like, I don't even know what that means. I want to know that 2025 was a year that I was productive, that I produced like 10 different master classes. I produced audio experiences, webinar experiences, 3 days, 5 days, 1 day, free masterclass, paid masterclass. And of course, I showed up, I delivered my podcast, I delivered my coaching to my clients, I launched Worthy Money. Like, 2025 was a productive year when I really went deep into thinking how I could serve my clients, and I created programs and shorter master classes in order to serve them. And that is anything but clarifying. So don't rely on a robot to tell you, but think about your people and give them the services and the products that you need. That's number 4. Number 5, we are going to see more community-based offers in 2026 than we have in 2024, 2025. Yes, people are still going to work with high-level people one-to-one, but we want connection so much. I think even more so in this season when there is so much artificial intelligence, so much AI in the world. We want to see people, we want to feel people, we want a community, we want to be connected with people. So I think if you are running an experience for groups, it could be an in-person retreat. It can be an online masterclass. It can be a one-day intensive where you are meeting people either virtually or in real life. Community is going to be the next wave. And that is one of the reasons, by the way, why I launched my Worthy Money program, because we heal in community. People have a relationship with money. They don't know like that other people are dealing with the same stuff. We feel so much shame around our money, mistakes that we made with money, things that went wrong. We feel like we're the only ones that are dealing with this. But I've noticed so much just in the 1 month that my community has been live, that people are just so grateful that other people are sharing their experiences and they're learning from each other, and people don't feel that they're so alone in their growing relationship with their money, that we all make mistakes. So we all are learning about investments. We're all learning to raise our prices. There is really so much beauty and growth in community, and we cheer each other on for effort. It doesn't always have to be wins, but people are sharing information if they're working in the same industry, how they can help each other. It's just such a beautiful experience working on a relationship with money together. And I think that that's going to be a wave for the future, is connection in content, in community, in the way you serve your clients. So really, really think about that. How are you showing up? How are you serving your clients? And is there a way to introduce community in your offers so that people will feel like they're part of a group, part of a tribe, that they're connected with other human beings? The next way I see that there's growth is that, unlike in the days of Corona online, and this is specific to the coaching industry where they would just jump into a high ticket offer, that now people are looking, because of that erosion of trust. It all goes back to that. Because of that, people are looking for lower cost opportunities. They're interested, they want to work with you. And if you offer them opportunities to work with you initially for lower cost, then they can slowly ease themselves into a situation where they can work with you in your higher ticket offers. But and this is a very important point. I like to think of my lower ticket offers as like tasters. Tasters when you go into the ice cream store. And if you're going in, you're like, want to try the strawberry, you want to try the vanilla fudge, you might want to try a few flavors. But when you are creating your lower ticket offers, your lower cost opportunities to work with you, focus on your dream clients. Don't focus on the person that's going to come and they're going to have like a taste of the French vanilla and they're going to walk out the door. Or they just want to try that like daiquiri ice. And they're going to be, that tastes nice, and then walk out the door. And there are people who are like that, or they'll come with their kids, they'll buy ice cream for the kids, and then they'll leave. Focus on the dream clients, meaning the ones who are going to go into your ice cream store. They're going to buy the banana split with 3 scoops of ice cream, the chocolate fudge, the whipped cream, the sprinkles, the nuts, the cherry on top. Like, those are your people. Market your ice cream or your ice cream store to your dream clients. Don't look at the lower ticket offers as a concession to the people who can't afford to work with you. Look at your lower ticket offers as like, isn't this amazing that my dream clients, the ones who are going to pay me thousands of dollars, they also get to just get to know me a little bit with a $27 offer, a $47 offer, a $99 offer, and just focus on who your people are and what they really need, those dream clients. And don't sell to people's money blocks and being like, okay, I need that $97 offer for the people who they can't afford it. Focus on the people that you love working with, who light up your world, the people who are really your best fit clients. Don't think of your low ticket offers as like, well, that's what I have to do because people can't afford it. That disempowers you and it disempowers your dream clients. So that is really a trend that I see is going to take over in 2026. I started in 2025. I put a lot of foundational pieces, really thinking about my offer suite and how I can serve my clients. And now I invite you to think about your offer suite and how you can serve your ideal clients, your dream people, with some lower ticket offers that will lead into an ascension offer. So let's just wrap up by thinking like, who is going to thrive in 2026 and who do I think is not going to do as well as maybe some other people? And I think if you are courageous, and this really goes back to investing, you're going to be courageous. You're going to invest in yourself and your business, and you are going to move outside your comfort zone. I have in the past, I really think it was in those Corona years, I've worked with people who thought they wanted to invest, And that putting some money into the game meant that they're going to like churn out the results. As I said, pull that lever on the slot machine. But if the more courageous you are, putting yourself out there, showing up, refining the way you're speaking to your ideal people so that they really sense in their gut that you get them. And that's a skill set. We're not all born with it, but you can definitely learn the skill of writing better copy over and over and over again. It's why I create the programs that I do, like Piping Hot Buyer and Charisma to Cash. Like those focus specifically on content so that you can do better, so you can be better, so you can show up better for your ideal clients. So if you're willing to be seen, you're going to be courageous. You're going to do things that feel uncomfortable. You're going to talk on stages, on podcasts, on webinars. You're going to show up for your people. You're going to take radical responsibility for your results. You're going to lead yourself powerfully. Those are the people that are going to thrive. Those really are the people who always thrive. But the people who are going to continue looking at outside circumstances and say, everything outside of me, I can't control that. I don't know, it's not happening, woe is me, and they're not willing to be responsible for their results, they're just not going to thrive. We're going to see that difference. But I think as we move into 2026, it's going to be even more evident who is self led, who is courageous, who is committed, and who is convicted in herself and what she offers her clients. And those are the people who are going to really thrive in this new calendar year. So let's just wrap up by going back and doing a little bit of a recap of what I see for 2026 and really where you need to focus and to brush up your skills. So the first one that we talked about is that there has been that erosion of trust. And in order for people to feel really confident that they can invest with you, number one is you want to believe in them, you want to believe in their results, but be very nuanced and specific in the way you talk to them. Once upon a time, people could show up and say, I'm here to help you live your best life. But that's not going to work anymore. You really need to help people feel deep into their gut that you understand them. You understand what their problem is. You understand where they want to go, what their desires are, what they want to be different. And you need to explain to them through your content, through your marketing, not the little nuances, the details, but how your process is going to get them step by step from where they are now to where they want to go. And they need to really feel connected with you as a person. Go out there, share content that connects with your people, not flowery memes, but really content that people say, wow, she really gets me. She's living in my head. She understands what I'm saying. She really, really understands my problem. And of course, it helps if you have some testimonials and people who are saying, yeah, you were really a great person to work with. But help your people understand that you get them, that you have a process, you have a system, you have a treatment plan for them, and you can get them the results that they want. Make sure that you are not just investing your business by putting money into your business, but you're actually showing up, doing the work day by day by day. You're out there marketing, you are refining your sales skills, you are managing your money, and you are leading yourself powerfully. You're staying well hydrated, you're staying exercised, your mind is fresh, your body is fresh, so that you can show up on fire every single day for your business. And just be courageous. We all want to see a change. We get bored by reading the same content, by looking at the same content, the same pictures, the same old, same old. Have a new photo shoot. Change your branding. You don't have to go, if you're like pinks and purples, don't go to blues and greens, but you can update a few things. You can add a little accent color. You can show up a little bit differently. You can switch things around. People want differences. Our eyes look for differences. We want something that's intriguing, something that's interesting. So share like updated pictures. If you usually do, still pictures, add a little bit of video, audio, just show up in different ways so that you keep your audience engaged. You stay active, you stay interesting. Like do some new things in your business, grow, stretch yourself. We like new fashion. That fashion is changing all the time. We read new books. There are different movies out there. I don't watch movies, but we want new, we want interesting, we want things to delight us. So be delightful and help your clients, serve your clients, and go out there and serve your people boldly, serve them with integrity, and you be you. put a lot more of you. Don't just rely on the AIs of the world for you to run your business. Great for automations, great for simplifying things, great for brainstorming and feedback, but show up and be a human being because we all want more connection, more community in 2026. All right, my friends, thank you so much for tuning into the Jewish Entrepreneur Podcast. And now, before we wrap up, I do have an announcement. And that is, I said this was my last episode for 2025. This is also the last episode for the first quarter of 2026. I'm taking a break for my podcast because I'm traveling to the U.S., because my parents are in their mid-80s. May they live and be well to 120. But episode number 191, I did this wonderful podcast episode with Sarah Miller. We talked about creating a family emergency binder. And as my parents age, I want to make sure that I understand what's going on with them, their finances, their healthcare, who can step in if, God forbid, something happens. And we know that life goes on and we need to make sure we can take care of ourselves. So I'm going to be with my parents and I want to be present with them. I will still be running my programs, Wired for Wealth and Worthy Money. That's where you can find me. And I'm taking a handful of one-on-one clients, as I always do. But my podcast is going to go on pause for a few months. And then when I get back, shortly after I get back, my son is getting married in the middle of March between Purim and Pesach. So I want to be there for my son and for my family. And so I've decided for the first quarter of 2026 to pause my podcast, and I will be back in the spring after Pesach. So I look forward to seeing you. If you're not on my mailing list, come sign up for my newsletter, debbiesasson.com/newsletter, because that way you can stay in touch with me. You'll know when I'm running masterclasses and webinars, and you'll get amazing content through my emails, because that's what I always do. And we're just going to press pause for a few months on the podcast. And I will see you on the next episode of the Jewish Entrepreneur Podcast. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Jewish Entrepreneur Podcast. If you want to stop underselling and under-earning and close more sales, you need to clear the limiting money beliefs that are sabotaging your business growth. Head on over to debbiesasson.com/mindset and download my free Money Mindset Workbook. Uncover and dissolve money blocks like hundreds of other entrepreneurs who are now building 6, multi-6, and 7-figure businesses and creating true financial freedom.